Once again, your Pennsylvania Dutch uncle. I'm going to cover something I covered once before in a video. And since I got two tractors in here this winter that I had to get the hell in and out because of these storms and this cold weather, this is my yard man. I picked this up used, and it has a little bit of a history that's kind of unique here that we just got into. Finding out it has a practically brand new engine in it that somebody forgot to put oil in, and it was locked up, but actually they said they tried starting it, but it didn't run. Well, the reason why they tried starting it and it didn't run was because it had a bad starter, which bound up against the flywheel. So it was a long block. It came with everything but the plastic pieces. I was wondering why, because it was so damn clean and new looking when I opened it up. But anyway, I called the old owner back. This thing had some history I needed to explore. I'm going to show people how to get rid of that steering wheel shake, because that is so annoying, especially if you're cutting a hill or you're on uneven terrain to begin with. You can actually go out of control depending on the speed you're at. And with these twin cylinder tractors, that's not hard to do because they have a lot of oomph, especially with the PTO off. So the other thing is this one has kind of a toe issue. Tractors don't have camber, but they do have toe, and you can see one wheel is sitting out. That is a large strain on your tractor. When one wheel is maybe facing in or it's dragging, there might be another component that's bad that you have to look, and I really haven't checked this one out. As far as I know, it's just a toe issue. So I'm going to solve this problem with epoxy. I don't make many lengthy videos because of my upload speed. I'm hoping people understand that. I have a very crappy upload speed. I have Verizon. They're very overpriced. Ever since the government deregulated industries, everything's gone amok. You get less for your money or whatever. I'm hoping that this camera's focused down on that you can see it. I'll try to focus it a little bit. Here's my other method. Gotta mix up epoxy. The epoxy was sitting out here approximately 15 minutes in the cold, and it made an issue. It's not quite as... This is just for bedding. It'll dry when the weather gets warmer. It doesn't really hold on this black plastic, and that's another thing that we're just going to cover, is about where a lot of stuff can be repaired with different technique outside of cracks if you're just trying to join two pieces together. Okay, this is kind of a friend. It's a bedding for what I'm going to do. I've already drilled 2 holes. I don't know if you saw that when I had the camera over there. I drilled 2 holes there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the plastic, not on the washer. Over here is something. This tool has more uses than a screwdriver and the vice grip. That's a pneumatic. People have seen these other guys in videos with these pneumatic riveters. But this thing, it has more uses than the vice grip ever did. It's just, you got to use your brain on how to repair things. Like we just had a rear view mirror where the rear view mirror was actually, it was brand new Chinese junk. When you think of brand new Chinese junk, you better have one of these Chinese riveters. What happened was the inner part was glued by the Chinese, and the actuator, the swivel inside, the black base of the swivel, kept coming loose from the mirror. And I thought about it long and hard, and instead of spending another $43 for a friggin' mirror, I said, let me try something. Lord and behold, we painted the rivets black, and the customer was satisfied. He didn't want to, drive another week. It's a real bitch, especially around here, driving without a side view mirror. It wasn't a rear view, but it was a side view mirror, driver's side. So basically, I got to route my hose around my tripod. I marked this washer with a 12 o'clock position so I could find my rivet hole. Now getting the nose of your riveter in here, I don't know if you're watching that, but I was going to say, let's not have a malfunction on video. That's totally embarrassing. But yeah, I may have to finish that off with the hand riveter. That is a thing that does happen. Sometimes you have to use your hand riveter. That's probably one for the hand riveter. It's a little close. You want to drill on the outside of that washer. Now there's two out of 4. We'll see if we can get one more. And then we'll go to my political message. Okay, so we got one for the hand riveter. Problem solved. I mean, totally. That makes a big difference. That washer's stainless, by the way. I use a lot of stainless because it's harder. That's basically if you could actually put a bearing in there, which the manufacturer was too cheap to do since they've been building shit in China. I don't remember too many tractors actually coming with say, you know, a bearing or, you know, a slip over bearing. There were a few the earlier Troybilts that had that in them. They were like the higher end Troybilts. I'm talking the ones bigger than the 30, those 36 and 38 inch decks and 40, 42. When they came out with the ones that the Troybilts towards the end of the 70s there with the 4 foot, the 48 inch decks and the 50 inch decks and 52s, those Troybilts had a bushing. The steering on those things, I see a couple of them running around today. There's one down here a guy has. He basically uses it to pull his yard trailer. But it's the reason why some of those machines got to be the age they are is because they were built correctly versus this Mickey Mouse shit. So a guy puts a brand new engine in this thing and he ends up selling it anyway because it still has a few features. He just figures, ah, hell it, I'll whip out my plastic and we'll give the Chinese more of my money. Well, I don't have that feeling, and this thing is in fairly decent shape. It could use tires, which it'll get this summer. With everything frozen in, we're not really working. We're kind of frozen in place here. So I just do things as I can, and it's kind of arduous. Political message is shut the country down. I hope the truckers do so. We're all fathers. There's some mothers, sisters, brothers. We're a United States under one flag, and that word indivisible. Okay, this division that's being created by our political tyrant elite, it needs to stop. And the lifeline of the nation, the truckers provide that. Let's see how they suffer and how people rebel once the truckers shut the country down. They are the key to solving this. They should have did it before, right when Mashed Potato Head stole the election like he did. Nobody's going to tell me he didn't. Now, it's factually true how they manipulated the votes, changed votes, made up ballots. And by the way, I got a mail-in ballot already for 2022. It was already mailed to me. I hope like hell nobody's voting in my name. So that is my political message. And you guys, like I said, with those wonky steering, I had 2 of them here. Obviously, select people only watch my stuff. Pass it on. You only need a few basic tools. I stretched that washer with I call it a hog bit. And it's nowhere in sight as soon as I shut the camera off here. But there's a bigger bit that you can. I had to enlarge the hole in that washer a little bit with a hog bit, and that was all there was to it. I put it in the vise to do that, and I drilled the holes basically on a piece of wood with it, with the washer secured down. You can do that in multiple different ways. Just got to use your head. but that repair was not that difficult. So that, you know, I could even live with those 3 rivets. That'll hold up forever. That'll hold it in place, especially once that epoxy dries in, say, a couple days or whatever. Once that's really only, like I said, it's like a bedding. It kind of creates like a seat, but the way that is, it'll hold up forever. So thanks, guys.